almost Halloween. Ooh. So we're gonna be getting into top 10 action horror animes you need to watch. Ooh, I love action, and if you don't like action, then you're just a boring person. But other than that, let's get into this video, y'all. This is top 10 anime action horror animes you need to watch, and it's by Vinny Tube.
It's October, and you know what time it is. Halloween. So for this week, let's go through some of the best spooky Halloween hits in.
Oh, I saw Hellsing.
You know what? Forget it. Instead of doing something about spooky things, I prefer to get you going with an adrenaline rush. So for this edition of ViniTube Lists, we won't be talking about the top horror anime that you can watch for Halloween. Instead, we'll be going over some of the best action shows with a dash of horror and mind screw. Are you ready for this challenge?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's get going. But before we go, I noticed that not all of my watchers are subbed to this channel. It would make me really happy if you would hit that sub button and help this channel continue growing before starting the video.
I think I'd have to
Okay, I'm done. Let's start for real now.
Oh, Blood Plus. Yes! This is my show.
Number 10 on the list is Blood Plus. This is one of the shows that anime fans of my generation would have probably heard of in their teen years.
Hell
Blood
yeah.
Plus is about Saya, seemingly your ordinary girl, plus the anemia and
Oh, wait,
amnesia,
hold on, wait.
who gets...
If y'all seen Blood Plus C, it's not as good as Blood Plus. The Blood Plus is like the original. And I know they made a movie of it and stuff. I saw the movie. It was alright.
attacked by Chiropteran, bat-like humanoid monsters. Luckily for her, Haji comes to the rescue and lets her drink his blood, awakening powers within her and turning her into a monster killing
I gotta
machine.
rewatch this. It's been so long.
Peculiarities continue occurring around her, and she soon learns of Red Shield, a secret organization founded for the sake of dealing with those beasts.
This show reminded me so much of Resident Evil. It's so much dead.
After all these years, I'm honestly not sure how well Blood Plus's premise and plot would have aged, which is why I placed it pretty low on this list. However, it remains one of my teen favourites, and I think that it helped ease me into a lot of shows in this genre. If you're up for a quick monster-slaying fix with some badass characters, do check this one out. The 50 episodes are definitely worth it. We move on with High School of the Dead at number 9.
This is my show right here. I love. Oh my god, I'm so upset that we don't get a season 2, y'all. This was the best zombie anime ever. Like, oh my gosh. And they haven't made any other good zombie animes other than High School of the Dead. And the animation was flawless.
Coming off the zombie craze at the start of the previous decade,
You can't play the opening, but that's my
this
opening
is our next entry.
too.
Fan service galore, a lot of blood, and loads of zombies.
It had
Sums up
everything you
High School of
needed.
the Dead
Zombies,
pretty well. In High School
hentai.
of the Dead, Japan gets thrown into total chaos overnight with the start of a zombie apocalypse. As the school gets overrun, our protagonist Takashi is forced to escape with Rei, the girlfriend of his friend that he had to unfortunately execute. What awaits them outside is a society that's been taken over by the living dead.
And it wasn't like all cutesy. It had like some serious moments. Like the freaking boyfriend of her died, and now she's stuck with her ex. It was so
And
funny.
thankfully, they have allies on their side. Joining them is a band of other student survivors, but will their ragtag group have what it takes to survive this nightmare? One look at the opening and the poster can pretty much give you an idea of what to expect. Now, as I said before, the show is fan service galore, but it's also filled with some nice action sequences and a genuinely interesting setting and world. It can be quite mindless in its approach and how it throws guns and fan service at you, but if you're someone who's in for those, this show will definitely tickle your fancy.
My fancy.
Now more than ever, we need new healthcare technologies that can adapt to meet current challenges.
Next up is a movie from the year 2000, Vampire Hunter D: Bloodlust, if you know it. Got a movie at the start of the millennium, and it didn't disappoint. The story revolves around the titular D, a renowned vampire hunter born of the holy union between vampire and human. His next task has him on a rescue mission to save the young noblewoman Charlotte Elborn. The bounty for his task is huge, and the hunt is on.
This movie looks
even
so
with
old,
mysterious
and I
forces
love
acting
it.
in the background. This rescue mission also seems to be more than it looks at first glance, and perhaps D has accepted a quest that even a hunter like him him can't handle. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust is a gripping movie, and I found myself enjoying every single bit of it. Now, at first glance, it gave me some Van Helsing and Castlevania vibes. I'd say that my first impressions aren't that far off actually, but the movie still has its unique points, especially in the character development that gets done in such a short plot. Not to mention how good its animation is for the time it was released. It has a good blend of suspense and action, and you might want to watch this for your Halloween movie fix.
Yeah, I think I'll watch that.
Second in line is Arjun.
Oh, I love this. I probably love all of these. I love horror. This show is freaking good. Like, for a Netflix show, hell
Superpowered
yeah.
beings living alongside regular humans has been a recurring theme in anime or media in general for that
Season 2 didn't live up to his hype, but season 1, that's some good.
matter. Oftentimes they come into conflict with the more mundane and ordinary residents of the world, and those conflicts can end up being quite brutal. Arjun brings us to that world, where after getting run over by a truck, Kay, instead of waking up in another world, awakes as an Arjun. The problem? Arjun have high bounties over their heads, and Kay finds himself being betrayed by all that he knew, with the exception of his lone friend. Together the two make a run for it and come in
Don't
contact with the hidden
spoil it.
society of Arjun. However, it turns out that Arjun aren't really the nicest people around, especially after years of abuse and being ostracized. Giving me some serious Tokyo Ghoul vibes here, Arjun for me is quite the nice dark fantasy story that presents an interesting battle of ideals. It's got some cool social commentary that you can take note of.
Even
It's
the
really got
open
a
is
top
pretty good.
narrative that's filled to the brim with action and suspense. Next is a cult classic, Elfen Lied.
This should be number 1. Elfen Lied. Split that man into 2.
One of the often talked about classics is Elfen Lied. Correct me if I'm wrong,
say
but this
Lied.
is one anime that often appears in random recommendations, but for good reason too. Elfen Lied talks of Lucy, a special breed of human who escapes from a research facility. During the breakout, she gets shot and gets left with a split personality.
I only watched it because she had pink
Later,
hair.
you-
But after I found out what it was about, I was like, yes.
University students stumble upon her and decide to take her home. However, trouble pursues the students as they have to deal with not only government agencies going after Lucy, but of their new companion's
The manga
traumatic
had way
past
more
and dark
story
split
to it.
personality. When it comes to Elfen Lied, there are lots of things to like about it. You could say that it's a show with ample doses of mutant action, split personalities, nudity, sudden mood swings, and loads of gore. Yes, this is a show that would have been censored to hell and back under today's standards, but
Hell
it's one of the most
yeah.
enduring action horror shows in anime history, and for good reason
They
too.
ain't-
We
they ain't
continue
cut nothing
with
out
an
of there.
oldie but goodie, Akira.
That movie scared me. I still don't know what it's about. I mean, I know what it's about, but I still don't want to watch it.
Akira, the anime movie that's long been credited as the one that brought anime past the borders of Japan and into the West. One of the pioneers of anime, Akira still holds up quite well today. Set in a Tokyo that's been rebuilt from the ashes of a Third World War, Akira puts us in a city rife with crime and corruption.
I gotta watch the movie like fully, cause I was like young. I was like, what the hell going on in this movie?
Fought in a battle between biker gangs, a youth named Tetsuo
Ugh.
gets taken into custody along with one of the people seen exhibiting superpowers. As things would have it, Tetsuo's powers also awaken, and it drives him insane, leading him to break away from the lab in a warpath. It's up to his friend Garneda to stop him. One of the most controversial and beloved anime movies to have ever been made, Akira is a movie that delves into psychology, sci-fi, and horror. It's one of those overly violent titles that aren't for the faint of heart, but it provides its fair share of bloodbaths. Overall, Akira gives the complete experience that would surely enrich anyone watching it. And hey,
He
it
just did
did
his best.
convince people decades ago that anime is a medium to be taken seriously.
That's Helsing! Ultimate, baby.
Up for some more
Yes.
vampire action? Well, we've got one more for this list.
You gotta show the
and I
first
saved the
episode.
best for last. In Great Britain, there exists an organisation that protects people from monsters that prey upon people. The organisation, aptly named Helsing, is led by Integra and his star
Integra.
operative, the vampire Alucard. Standing against them is the rival organisation, the Catholic Church, and the enigmatic
This is like my favorite vampire anime series ever. Like, freaking love it. And the English dub is hilarious because they always cursing.
Father Anderson. Caught in all of this is a survivor of a police squad who becomes a
Sarah.
vampire herself. And joining Helsing, the organization uncovers a plot of apocalyptic proportions that threatens the world. Amazing animation, great fights, unrelenting violence, some of the best showcases of powers in anime. What more could you ask for in a fantasy horror series? Hellsing is one of the most popular series of the genre. It's something better watched than read, so go ahead and start watching it now.
I mean, you can still read it.
Standing in our runner-up spot in second place is Berserk.
That show is just beyond freaking bloody. I had to watch it again. I'm gonna watch the old one, then the new one.
When it comes to horror and unrestrained violence, I find few shows capable of holding a candle
Right
to
through the
Berserk
neck.
in that regard. Of course, I'm talking about the 1997 Berserk, not the recent one that had its fair share of online.
That's why I say I watched the
Berserk
old one.
is the story of Guts, an orphan who embraces the battlefield, fighting for his life day after day. His life takes a huge turn after his run-in with the Band of the Hawk, a mercenary group led by the charismatic Griffith. Joining the group as a formidable new ally, Guts quickly realizes the world isn't as simple as he thought it was. After all, bloodshed and strength aren't everything in this grim world. What more needs to be said about Berserk? Starring one of the most badass and outright brutal protagonists out there, there is a reason why the series has become a classic that stood the test of time. Do take note though, the anime does have some heavy modifications in order to tone down the violence, but I think it's a decent adaptation overall, unlike the latest one.
I like the latest one.
Topping off yet another list is...
I hate how the new animes try to censor like everything, like the blood. Like when Tokyo Gold came out, I was like, how they gonna change the blood to purple or orange? I was like, what honey? It's like everything is censored now. Back in the day, everything was bloody. People cursing. And people look manly back then. The anime characters look like men.
Parasite.
But it's my anime. This wasn't gory, but it's my anime right here. Parasite. He could have switched Elfin with Parasite. I'm just saying.
I think when it comes to combining action and its signature style of body horror, few titles can come close to Parasite. For those of you who don't know about the series, Parasite is basically a show about an alien invasion. Only this time they
I have
don't
the
come
manga
in
over there.
spaceships or look like those
My
green or
fave.
grey men we've come to know aliens for. Instead, these organisms come in the form of parasites that latch onto humans and possess them, turning them into transformative monsters with an appetite for human flesh. Thankfully, our protagonist Shinichi was able to stop a hostile takeover, but in exchange, said parasite gets stuck in his hand. The parasite, called Migi, comes to life as his transforming hand, and the duo gets forced to put aside their differences in order to survive the crapsack world where fellow parasites are on the hunt for them. Combining philosophical themes, some serious violence, high-octane action, and some really funky music,
so
Parasite is...
It was really
Hey
good.
guys, Chloe here. I wanted to tell y'all about The Real because it is personally my favorite place.
I don't care.
probably one of the shows that I'd eagerly, blindly recommend to someone who hasn't watched anime at all. I think that after all of these years, the original story from the manga that's over 3 decades old still holds up strongly. Definitely
I
put
agree.
this on your watch list
Oh, no.
if you want to watch some
Oh,
action
no.
horror animes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's more than enough anime for you to enjoy in the upcoming Halloween week. Which ones are you most excited
I got
about? Which
jalapeno
ones have you
in my
already seen? And how did you find them? Please share your thoughts and sentiments down in the comment section below, and we can have fun chatting about anime and other cool things too. Now, before...
Hold on. I got jalapeno in my eye. Sorry about that, guys. I had got jalapeno on my nail and I had put it in my eye, so that was like burning. But other than that, let's get back to this video. I was doing a jalapeno cream cheese and taki thing. God, my eyes burning.
Before I end the video, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, Lazy Moods. They offer a variety of these amazing needs. Some love and support you've been giving me recently. And
Alright, so yeah, that's the end of that video, guys. Everyone he listed on the anime was also my fave. Why people interrupting me? Was also my fave. So yeah, Parasite, I love that freaking anime. Like, it's so action-packed and psychological. With the science and the Migi getting stuck in his hand. He has to transform all these different times. They have to work together. Me and my mom, we watched that anime. We loved it. It was so freaking good. What's the other one? Elfin, I call it Lad. Elfin Lad was my fave. I watched it when I was like 12 or 11 years old. Freaked me out as a kid, but I freaking loved it. Hellsing, also one of my top faves. Watched it with my mother again. And I freaking love that anime. I haven't watched the first series. I heard it wasn't it wasn't following the manga. It wasn't that good. So I had watched Ultimate, and I freaking love that one. So who else we got? Oh, Aijin. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It's on Netflix. It's really good. Season 2, I'm gonna try to watch season 2 again. It's not really my favorite, but season 1 and that opening, like, that is good. And who else we have? I can't remember the first one. Oh yeah, Blood Plus. Blood Plus is good too. I love that anime. I like anything with horror, vampires. I like anything. Blood Plus C is also good, but if they took it a different direction, it would have been better. But other than that, guys, let me know down below what your top 10 action and horror animes are, and we'll see you on the next. Happy Halloween, y'all.